Hello and welcome to episode 118 of the DaebakCast. This is a weekly podcast where the three of us come together each week to talk about K-pop and whatever's current in the industry. This week we are in Seoul. I don't know if you can see it in the
I don't think you can see it.
You can raise the things.
Out the window there's it's Seoul. Nope.
It doesn't do it.
No, that one of the directions.
No.
It just opens the blinds.
No, it's not blinds. It slides up. It's weird. It's like, you think it's blinds.
Oh,
but
it's probably ruining the lighting right now, but actually no, it probably makes our lighting better.
It's okay.
Maybe silhouette.
Yeah, it probably will be. It's okay. But anyways, while Andrew fixes that, or are we gonna restart?
No, I'm just checking it.
Okay.
It's fine.
Well, Andrew does that. Anyways,
Jacob's intro.
today we went to on a
You gotta
trip.
introduce us.
Oh God. Okay. As always, I'm joined by Nate.
Super lazy Nate today. No English lyrics because
I'm a lazy girl.
I'm a lazy girl. Yeah, that's a good English lyric. I'm a lazy girl.
Okay, and then I'm also joined by Andrew. Who usually has three things, but I don't know if he does now.
No, I
Doubt
don't.
it.
Okay. Anyways, so today we took a trip to North Korea, and we made it back alive.
We made it back in one piece, barely. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically we went on a trip to the DMZ, which was really cool. The tour guide.
That guy was really good.
Yeah, she was. She was really attentive. She
Yeah.
was really nice. She
Explained things well.
explained things well, make sure we know everything. So yeah, definitely good.
Told us to avoid the things that
The tourist traps.
charged us
Yeah,
extra
she-
money
yeah,
because
she
they
was-
weren't worth it.
She was like, "Don't bother with that shit. It costs money. It's not worth it." That's basically the TLDR of what she was telling us. So yeah, we had to wake up really early for that.
And that's because we were the first people you picked up.
Yeah.
We got
Mhm.
screwed.
So why don't
Because
just
there were other people got picked up at like 8 a.m. So
yeah.
like,
Want to just run through the whole day? I guess.
Yeah, let's
Or just
do it.
like the DMZ
Yeah.
sort of thing.
yeah, the 4 stops.
All right. So first we had to meet at this station. So
In Shindong.
Shindang Station, yeah, which is like on the brown line if you know the Seoul.
And green.
Yeah, brown and green. And then basically we got picked up by the bus there. We were the first ones on, and then like for the next hour or so, we basically
Picked up other people.
basically we had to go around and find all the other customers that were going with the same tour guide. And after that, we
Drove in like an hour.
drove like an hour again to the border.
We're like to the that first area that we went to.
Yeah.
I forget what's-
It's right there.
yeah,
Literally right there.
We have the thing.
Ilm something. Or Im something.
Imjinga.
Imjingan.
Yeah. That was really interesting actually.
Yeah, it was like a
'Cause-
lot of history stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with the history. One part that stuck with me was the part with the there's this bridge, the Freedom Bridge.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's blocked off with a fence.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of Korean flags and
flags.
messages and
Yeah.
stuff. And one of the things said our wish is for unification. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I liked the shrine.
Yeah,
So
that was
there's
nice.
a shrine for, because in Korea during what's the Chuseok and Lunar New Year, they do memorial type things for ancestors,
yeah, I
and
remember.
family.
Yeah, we got this
And
place.
there's a big shrine there for refugees, for people that have family in North Korea,
Yeah.
that they use to celebrate or do memorial stuff for.
Yeah. One also really cool part was the railroad. They had this. So before Korea got separated, there was a railroad that went between North and South Korea, where we were.
Yeah.
And I think once they signed the armistice, they blew up the railroad and this steam locomotive that was on it, so that basically to reduce danger of being invaded, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It was really interesting because they still had this blown up steam locomotive set up
Blocking the tracks.
at this place. Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, it's a really old train. Basically, I was saying.
It literally looks like a charred blown up train.
Yeah, and it's just sitting there in the on the tracks or whatever. So that
Yeah.
was pretty cool. What else?
There's a creepy DMZ amusement park.
Oh yeah, there's
Oh,
like
yeah.
there's like it's
We
like
didn't go in
again?
it because
It's
it
like
wasn't open.
something Hua Land.
In
Pyeonghwa Land.
yeah,
Pyeonghwa
Pyeonghwa Land.
Yeah.
yeah. So there's an actual like amusement park that's right next to this. I don't know why.
Maybe it's for like kids who aren't actually interested in.
I guess, but it wasn't open though. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it's just close to Easter Sunday. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
recording this on a Sunday, by the way. God, whenever this goes up, it's gonna be like Monday-ish. But anyway, so yeah, that was weird. It also because it was pretty like cloudy out when we went there, so it was just really eerie. Just going to see an abandoned amusement park right next to like a bunch of barbed wire.
Yeah.
And I think that's another ironic thing is just like there's a bunch of like really like happy or interesting places, and then just like barbed wire everywhere.
Yeah. So like, I guess I'll get to that part after, but just related to the barbed wire like dichotomies, I guess.
Steel mower.
What?
Steel mower.
I mean, I use dichotomy.
Yeah, me too.
But that's like my go-to word.
Your go-to modulation.
We're not reacting to
Not
the
really.
case.
Basically, yeah, it is. It's my modulation.
So yeah, there was also like a place that had like Popeyes inside of it for whatever.
Oh, yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
There was like an observatory deck, but there were 3 floors of like just stores.
Yeah. That's totally the first thing you want to do when you're visiting the DMZ.
Go to
Good.
Popeyes.
And get like
It's
face
Tony
masks
Moly.
from Tony Moly. Yeah, it just like I was telling Jacob, like this entire like the whole trip or like this whole like all the touristy stuff is like literally like
It's so weird.
it's the antithesis of everything that North Korea wants because it's
Yeah.
literally Western consumerism right at
Yeah.
their doorstep.
Yeah, exactly.
Like actual American companies and like all this like stuff. It's really funny.
Yeah, and, up on the observatory deck, there were like telescopes that you could look through for like 5,001 or 501. And honestly, I feel like after the ones we looked at later, those ones were definitely not worth it.
Yeah, because you're just seeing across the bridge.
Because to be honest, I didn't realize we were going all the way in there.
Yeah, because so
I thought like, oh, this is it, and there's like adjacent areas like before
yeah,
the
so
river.
that first area that we went to is basically just
It's like pre-DMZ.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a public area that you can access because any further than that, and they had to check our passports and like
Yeah.
everything, and like we had to be. I don't even think you can go there outside of a tour group. You have to go, because you don't have access to there as a regular civilian. You need to go with guided tour groups or whatever. Because I think you need. Yeah, they probably must have like some special license or something to like
Probably,
to go into the DMZ or whatever. So
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess we can get to the next one.
Yeah, so the next place we went to was Dorasan Station,
Yeah.
which this was also I found interesting because like basically the plan is they want to build like a Eurasian highway or not highway railway. And this station is like one of the ones they've built to basically connect the rest of Asia to Korea, all of Korea. But I guess the problem is they can't build much further than this because obviously North Korea. And yeah, that won't be realized until they have unification.
Yeah, but that's the interesting thing, though. It's just like the idea of how convenient it'd be, so that you're saying like it's like 2 weeks from Germany to get to Korea. I mean, honestly, I don't know who's gonna want to take a 2-week trip.
I mean,
Especially on rail.
backpacking or whatever.
I guess if you're just like going across.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, the concept of
Stop along the way.
yeah, the concept of like backpacking or like taking a train across like Europe is normal.
Yeah.
But for that to extend like
Across the world, basically.
yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's the closest you could probably get to an international, like a literal world railway.
Is it possible to go across the Bering Strait, like a boat or something?
I mean,
Because then you literally could like go all the
used
way
to.
down.
I mean, they've thought of
Alaska down to South America too.
yeah, because there's an island that's actually almost like halfway between Alaska and Russia.
Oh,
when
they
it comes
want to
the
build the.
yeah, but the thing is though, it'd be like one of the longest bridges in the world because it's
Yeah,
still that's the thing because back when the Bering Strait or like hundreds of thousands of years ago, they used to be able to just the Bering Strait was a land bridge.
Yeah. Also with the current relations, I don't think that'll.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Like for those that know history, like one of the greatest, literally one of the greatest, like I don't know, just like highway robberies was Russia sold Alaska to the U.S. for like chump change essentially,
Yep.
and look how important it ended up being. But
it was like 5 cents or 50
yeah.
cents per acre or something.
yeah,
like
it
that.
was
I don't
something really
remember.
cheap because they thought like no one was gonna live there, but now like Alaska has like a bunch of natural resources and like
Yep.
tourism stuff. Anyway, back to the station.
The
I think
station. So
you have the thing right where
yeah. Here's Nate's. I think this is yours,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So basically, like they had these like stamps, and it's like a passport stamp almost, but like the the problem is it says Pyongyang on the stamp, so they're like, don't put it in your passport.
Yeah.
Because your customs officer, when you come back to your home country, is gonna think you went to Pyongyang.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, why?
Yeah, they're probably gonna quarantine you and be like,
Yeah.
are you a North Korean spy?
Oh, you didn't get the ticket?
No, it should be there somewhere.
Oh.
Is this the ticket?
Yeah. So they also gave like this ticket card thing as well with the with this and the stamps. I bought one as well. It was only like 1,000 won, so
Yeah,
like
it was
$1, so whatever.
I
think it's a cool souvenir.
Yeah, I'm just impressed with how much effort they put into this, considering it's not a real train station.
Yeah.
It
is a real train
It's
station.
a real train station.
Yeah,
it's just
it's-
not operational for
no.
Like it works.
Like
but-
it's not operational for like commercial use because
Yeah,
said there's like
yeah,
only
they
one
can't.
train from
Yeah, they said there's one train from Seoul to that station.
Yeah.
to that station for like
Okay.
diplomatic purposes or like whatever they need it for. So it's actually pretty interesting that like they built this entire like thing like they built like all like the things necessary for having an actual functioning train station without, I guess on the hope that it will eventually become useful one day.
Also, there was a souvenir shop. And you could get DMZ beer
Mm.
and DMZ chocolate.
Yeah, I bought DMZ or it's called DMZ chocolate because I believe it was like soybean chocolate, like black bean chocolate or something like that. So I think the soybeans and the black beans were grown in the area around what's it called? It's like Panjumon, or it's like the actual like area that this part of the DMZ is called or whatever. So yeah, she was explaining how they had to incentivize people to move into this area because nobody wants to live that close to North Korea, considering like they could literally just bomb you or whatever. But yeah, so they incentivized like former military
people to farm
personnel.
that land.
Yeah, the farmland. And apparently it's like really fertile farmland that they're able to grow
Yep.
stuff on. So yeah, that's why they're selling the DMZ branded chocolate, which is that's actually pretty cool. They can they just found a way to like make agriculture or just like make anything work that close to an active military border.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the craziest part about this is that like this whole area is like an active military area.
Yeah, it is. I'm surprised. To be honest, like thinking about it, I'm surprised they allow it to
Like,
be
tourist. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's kind of like
because like there's so many like things that could go wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been 50, 60 years now.
yeah, since like the last like incident.
Almost 70 years. Next year.
Yep.
It'll be the 70-year anniversary of the start of the war.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So.
But I mean, I guess in a way it's just like a good like teaching tool just in general for people to just learn about it, especially us that don't have first-hand experience with most of Korean history.
Yeah, well, like we learn about it in American history, but like for 3 days or something.
Yeah, that's the
We don't
thing
even learn about
because
Korean War
most people
they like skip right to Vietnam.
Yeah, it's usually World War I, World War II. They barely touch Korean War, and then just Vietnam, like every other major conflict. But yeah, Korean War it's literally nicknamed like the Forgotten War. In America, just because a lot of people forget how many people like the United States actually sent to the Korean War. Like and I guess because it's kind of lumped very close to.
I think Vietnam. I think Vietnam kind of overshadows it because
World War
people.
II.
Yeah, World War II and Vietnam both overshadow it in terms of major U.S. conflicts.
Well, I think also because Vietnam people opposed it so much.
Yeah.
And like the Korean War, I think they still kind of had the general public support.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it was against
Communism.
Russia.
Literal communism. So.
Well, I mean, it was in Vietnam.
Vietnam too, but at that point
they were like,
this
like
isn't
why are
worth
we
it
doing
anymore.
this? Yeah.
Why are we trying to fight these random countries or whatever?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So
now you get to go to your favorite part.
my favorite part.
Yeah.
The third
tunnel.
tunnel.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
That was really fun, but it was oh my god.
it was work.
So yeah, before we even got there, the tour guide just kept warning us to like if you're not in good physical condition or you have like diseases and stuff, like
Don't
or,
go.
like,
Yeah.
don't do this. So I didn't even do this, mostly because I would have died probably.
Yeah.
So I'm not in good enough
So, like,
physical shape.
We should probably explain the story behind these tunnels. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most fascinating thing.
Yeah. So basically, like the tunnel, it was like they discovered it like sometime after the Korean War.
They discovered it in the 70s.
Yeah, the 70s. So that's like almost
20 years
later.
after the war.
Well, one of them was in the 90s. Or
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like they keep just like they think there might be even more of them through there, but
there's
basically
definitely more.
North Korea basically dug these tunnels under like 70 meters underground, and basically they're like a way that you could walk from North Korea directly into South Korea to invade.
Yeah, the idea was that they were building these underground tunnels that could like take you directly to Seoul for like basically they get, because that's actually a big thing, just like creating pipelines and just creating like ways or just like ways to easily invade a country. That's actually probably because obviously they're not gonna go through the border or whatever because there's a huge river and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, they basically all those underground tunnels are just like they showed like a video like how close it was to Seoul, or just like how like easily they could just walk to Seoul. Basically.
Yeah, apparently they like each tunnel could hold like 13,000 soldiers or something.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they do that though, because the tunnel is like if I'm standing up like this, the tunnel's like this tall.
I don't know if they can see you in frame, but yeah, so
it's like this. It's like to my shoulders when I'm standing up.
Yeah,
like,
so
we had to go like this, like through the whole tunnel.
Yeah, so when
with hard hats on.
Yeah, we went into the tunnel and like we had to leave all of our like belongings and everything. I don't think we could record video.
You know, we weren't allowed to bring phones, cameras, anything down there.
Yeah, because I mean you're getting pretty close to, or it was like like the closest you can get to North Korea on the entire trip essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, we put the hard hats on, and then there's this huge slope that goes down, and by huge, like we're not even like if you're thinking it's just like a regular old like slope. I don't know, just like.
Well, they said it was 75 meters, right?
Yeah,
no, that's directly down.
Yeah,
but
75 meters under the.
But then you slope.
Yeah, so the slope we had to walk down to go there, it was like a 45-degree angle or something, or like a 30-degree angle. It was like whatever it was steep, and we had to go down like 350 meters.
Yeah, basically, like you're talking like lengths of like.
Yeah, basically like one lap around a track, a little less than that.
Yeah, so basically it's longer. It's about as long as like a football field, or longer than a football field, right?
It's as long as like. Over three and a half
football. 3.5 football fields. It's crazy. So that was the down. And down felt weird. Like going down, that felt weird.
Yeah, because we were going so slow.
Yeah, and also because like the incline is so steep. Where literally like if you ate shit on the way down, you just literally like fall the whole way. You know, I'm surprised, or I'm actually surprised that didn't happen to me or whatever, because that totally happened to me.
Yeah, I'm curious how they actually found the tunnels.
Yeah, because they're so deep. I don't understand like how they just randomly came across.
Like I don't know if it went all the way through, like there was a finished tunnel or not, because I think the slope going down was definitely built by South Korea.
Yeah, that was definitely built. Yeah, a lot of it definitely is like cleaned up, quote unquote, because for the tourism aspect of it. So like there's like pavement, and like there's like obviously the actual tunnel, like obviously it's just like rock, but they have like platforms and everything so people can walk through, and lights and like signs and that sort of stuff. So once we actually got in the tunnel,
then we were like, once we actually got down, we're like, okay, this is good.
And no, like,
and then like it starts off like say this is like normal height. Like I was like, okay, this is fine. I just had to duck my head a little bit, but like getting deep down, we were like literally like crouching like this. Yeah. And there were these like old ladies always laughing at us. They're like, they're so tall. They have to like
because that's the thing. Most Asian people are short as hell.
Yeah.
So there were like kids or like some like those old ladies that could just walk that whole distance.
Well, I think nowadays, now that Korea's more like flourishing, I guess, as a country, like younger people are tall, but all the old people are really short.
Yeah.
Because they came up in more of a poor time.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah, and at first we were just like, why do we need like we thought the hard hats were just like for show or whatever.
Yeah. I thought it was maybe like in case like there were rocks falling off the top or something like that.
No, it's literally.
I was under the impression that it was like dirt, but it's literally like they carved out.
It's like all around you, like all four like corner or like all four like faces of the tunnel. It's all rock. It's literally like all like solid rock. Like they were talking about how like there's still like yellow markings and holes for like
dynamite.
Putting like dynamite and everything. It was definitely like cold and damp. I'm usually not claustrophobic, but I could feel like I can understand like, oh my god, like just try. Imagine going through that whole thing. Like I said, I'd be too tired to invade Seoul.
Yeah,
because walking that whole distance. And no, considering this isn't they didn't even finish the tunnel.
Yeah.
Like, imagine trying to walk.
Well, I was curious. Did they finish the tunnel?
No, they didn't. Like, the tunnels are like. That's why there's still like dynamite markings on it because they abandoned it after a certain point.
Okay.
So
So they're like, yeah, this is unviable, so we stopped digging the tunnels.
or maybe they were just like, okay, or maybe they just didn't want to do it or anymore. They had no plans to invade Seoul. And
Yeah. So at that case, at that point, I'm really curious how they even discovered the tunnel.
yeah, because I mean, how long was the tunnel again? It was like.
Oh, it had to have been like longer than even the slope.
You sure?
Yeah, we were walking for a really long time.
I think I remember the signs were saying like either like 250 or 350 or.
Oh, yeah.
It might just be 250-ish, but.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it wasn't longer.
But going like down that one stretch, like this one small stretch of tunnel.
Yep.
For about it felt like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
My back hurt. Like I literally like my back was aching.
Because we were literally like 90 degrees down, like.
Yeah, because you literally can't. Like you hit
Yeah.
your head. And like I ate shit on like the railings like. Or,
Oh, I hit my head like 6 times.
Oh, like really hard too. So it's not that easy to go through there. So once we made it through there, we finally got to the end.
The end.
And
Yep. I didn't know what to expect when we got down there, but there was like basically this tiny window and a door next to it that's closed.
Well, and like a bunch of like barbed wire or
Yeah,
whatever. But
yeah. There's like a huge roll, like a hay bale's worth of barbed wire in front of it. Like, don't go past here. And yeah, there's like this tiny window, and you could see in it. There's like an identical tiny window and door across the way, but like inside of there was all like overgrown with like grass and stuff. So I think. Like, the South Koreans don't even go past this.
Yeah, I don't think you can. Yeah, because after a certain point, because again, I'm sure that tunnel leads straight to North Korea,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You can't go through there.
Yep.
Or if you go through there, you're gonna. I wonder if you think they have an opening on the other, or they actually like.
It's probably open on the other side.
Yeah, I wonder.
If, cave in the side of the hill, I bet.
Yeah, I wonder if they actually like go through there. It's like, hey, you just.
Although then again, it's probably heavily guarded, I bet, because then North Koreans could just defect through there if they knew where it was.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. That, like I
like they could just run through the tunnel and be like, "I'm from North Korea, help me."
Yeah, that's actually. I wonder if anyone actually tried, or if it's like Bizarro. It's like a Bizarro world where there's like equal but opposite. Like so, there's an equal to where it just like goes up to the other side, and then they just see through there, and they're like, "Oh, those are the like the evil South Koreans."
That'd be really weird.
Yeah, so once we made it out of there, it felt like it was a workout. It was a workout. I was like drenched in sweat.
Like, we stopped once when we were going back up. Going back up was like literally the hardest part.
Oh, I had to stop twice.
Because again, it was like a hill like this, 350 meters. Like, yeah, so I stopped the first time with Andrew. He's like, "We need to stop." And I was like, "Okay," because there was a bench after like 100 meters. And then when we got up from that, I was like, "No, I'm not stopping again." So I went the rest of the other.
Because I was trying to like rush.
Straight.
Because like I was like, okay, if I go slow, I'm just gonna get tired again.
Yep.
But then there was like so many slow people. I was like, oh damn, now I'm gonna have to stop. So I was like, okay, I give up.
Yep.
Once I made it through, I was like, ugh. And then
Yeah,
like literally, my shirt. I had changed my shirt like before we started recording.
Yeah.
Like it was literally like drenched in sweat because it was that much. And also, it's like a kind of a humid day out too. So it just makes it like 100 times worse. Like 75 meters underground. So
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's definitely something I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life.
Oh my god, yeah. Having to walk all the way up that slope in this weird North Korean tunnel.
That might be one of the hardest things I've done in my entire life.
Really?
Just
oh my god. It's like, that was really fun though.
And
I was just like, it's so weird having the experience of being like 70 meters below the surface in this weird underground tunnel that was gonna be used to invade a country.
Yeah, that leads to North Korea. I think or just in general, like being that close to.
I think she said we were like 150 meters from being in North Korea.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me in general. Just being that close to a literal like dictatorship, military country, and literally you look outside and it's like nothing. Like that's the thing. That's probably one of the weirdest things, or like the things I'm finding about like being in Korea. It just like it feels like in many ways it just feels like being in America, like the U.S. or just like any similar, Western like country essentially.
Yeah, it's like a good mixture of like Japan and
East and West.
America.
Yeah, that's actually that's an interesting thing of like
it's a really good mixture.
Yeah, the different like influences that have sort of just like
it's got the traditional like Eastern values, but then the Western just modern stuff.
And I guess in many ways it's kind of like how in like in Israel or especially in like Jerusalem especially where it's literally like getting bombed all the time, but
Mhm.
people go about like their day.
Oh,
Like,
like for tourists and stuff?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. There's like tourists and like people visit like
Yeah.
the Holy Land and everything all the time, and they just go on with their daily lives,
Yeah.
like not even like worried about that sort of thing. So yeah, that's just I guess
Well,
that's kind of interesting.
I kind of
here.
felt crazy being in the DMZ, but like there are people I know, like exchange students who are from other countries, and they literally went to North Korea, to Pyongyang, to run like a marathon or something.
I'd never do it. I don't want to step foot in that country unless it's okay.
Yeah, like one of my friends, he brought back a propaganda newspaper that he bought, and it's all in English, and it's just
really?
completely like propaganda, like about like Kim Jong Un in North Korea.
I think that's the crazy thing. Like you hear the idea of like stuff like propaganda and just like all this sort of thing, but it's not really. It doesn't really hit you until like
No, it's real. Like,
until you see it or
yeah.
like it's something you hear about on the news or whatever. But
Yep.
until like the whole reality of it like sinks in, it's just like wow. It's kind of like the irony of just like all this like freedom and all this like all the luxuries that we enjoyed like only meters away from where they live. They're literally
Where we were, they were literally like oppression.
Yeah, they're just like people that live in poverty and essentially like slaves or whatever, and being brainwashed and all that sort of stuff. So I guess we can move on to the final
All right,
area.
so the last area was definitely my favorite because of what we got to see.
The Dora Observatory.
Yeah, so the Dora Observatory, which is literally like I guess how the name sounds, like basically we got there, we had to go up another hill after we had just...
Not as bad.
No, not nearly as bad. It's probably like 1/4 the size of the one that was in the tunnel. But
It's
like,
the same incline, but
yeah, it's about the same incline.
short.
So the lady, she was like, okay, we have to walk up another hill, but it's okay. It's
Don't
nothing
hate
compared to the other one. What?
She said, "Don't hate me."
Don't hate me.
Yeah.
No, I love that tour guide especially.
Yeah, she was really nice. Yeah, she was really, really good. So yeah, the like once we got up there, basically it's like a 2 or 3. It's like a 2-story building, and the third floor is just like outside on the roof.
Yeah.
So on the first floor there was just kind of like an exhibit with like different paintings and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
And then on the floor there's like this huge banner. I think foreigners are supposed to write things.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Right?
She
I
mentioned it on
noticed
the
it,
she
but-
mentioned it on the bus, but I didn't know if that was it. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
Oh,
tourists
were we
are
supposed to write something?
I mean, you're
You
not
don't have
supposed to, but like you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can write like encouraging messages for unification and stuff. And I think that was what it's for. But
I just read subscribe to Truly Daebak.
Oh my God,
No, just kidding.
like on the second floor there's like a cafe and then a huge window where you can see out into North Korea.
Like again, the irony of like this is where the barbed wire comes in. Which is like after we got back from like the third floor, which we'll get to. Like we ate at the cafe, or we just got drinks at the cafe because we were tired, and it's literally like by the window. We're just like sitting, like sipping, like I don't know, like juice or whatever.
Yeah.
And right next to it, there's just like barbed wire
In North Korea. Yeah.
and
Like I took a photo. I had like Martinelli's like sparkling apple juice, and I put like my Sony camera next to it. And I took a picture. I was like, "Here's me enjoying capitalism while I'm right next to this communist North Korea."
yeah,
Also, a North Korean spy wasp tried to attack Jacob.
yeah.
Yeah, there was like a wasp on the wall, and we had to move. We were joking that there was like a camera, a North Korean spy camera attached to it or something.
You think we're joking, but again, there has been governments have invested money into that type of thing, so it's not surprising. Anyway,
But yeah, before that we went up to the top floor, which was easily the best part. They had these like telescopes set up where you could look through, and those were actually free. Thank God. And basically we could look out, and like the most interesting thing to me was the 2 like villages. There's one in South Korea that has like you can see where each town is because they both have a flagpole. There's one in South Korea, and then there's another village in North Korea, and basically they like had like a rivalry for who would have the tallest flagpole.
yeah, so they just like whenever one would build it higher, the other one would build it higher, and after a certain point, they're just like South Korea just stopped because they said it was
this is stupid.
Yeah, it's basically a dick measuring contest but with flagpoles, and like. It's an intense dick measuring contest, if anything, though, because it's not just like a literal like flag. If you're thinking like a flagpole, it's literally just like a giant metal pole.
I bet it started out that way.
Yeah, I'm sure we probably started out as like a giant metal pole, but we're thinking of think like
The Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it's literally like an Eiffel Tower
like
supporting.
a tiny little one.
I wonder if that flagpole in the North Korean village is. That's probably taller than the
How
Eiffel Tower.
tall is the Eiffel Tower?
The Eiffel Tower is the tallest building in the world at one point.
I mean,
So I doubt it, but I bet it's at least half the height.
Yeah, so like you
Because
could.
it's huge. That thing was like you could see it like with your plain eye from all the way from the observatory.
Yeah, so that should give you an indication of how big this huge flagpole thing is. So we got some pictures of it, and like we were.
Yeah, like I put my phone. We put our phones up to the binoculars so you could kind of if you line it up just right, you can take pictures through it.
Mm-hmm.
So like one thing I took a picture of, there was like a North Korean guard post, and you could see the North Korean flag and the communist flag. And then you could actually like see soldiers like walking around.
Yeah,
that was so crazy.
That's
to me. That's
wild.
the craziest thing.
Yeah, and they had. I saw that there was binoculars there too, so they're probably just looking right back at us. Like, look at all these capitalist pigs.
Yeah, capitalist pigs. Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe they're just. Granted, these are just soldiers, so probably just.
It's half the height of the Eiffel Tower.
That's crazy.
That's still insane.
Actually, more than half.
More than half the height of the Eiffel Tower.
It's 526 feet, and the Eiffel Tower is 980 feet.
Oh my.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, definitely.
Who needs a flagpole that high?
North Korean.
I
village.
guess. Like.
Oh yeah, the one
And
thing.
apparently a bunch of Middle Eastern countries have taller flagpoles now.
The tour guide, she mentioned when she mentioned this village for the first time, she was like, "This is a propaganda village. It's fake."
Yeah. Like,
Apparently, North Korea literally hires people to live in this village and look happy, like they're living a happy life. Like they just act like they're happy in North Korea in this like fake village.
yeah, because since it's that close to the border, they want to be like, oh wow, North Koreans are living the good life, but nope. It's basically like if you ever watch the movie, The Interview.
Yeah.
It's like the thing where like
He goes in the grocery store, it's like plastic oranges and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
he gets super angry about it. Yeah, it's basically it's not a joke. It's like there literally are there are places like that in North Korea. So
yeah, like if you look in the binoculars at the South Korean one, you can see that like almost no one lives there. And then if you look at the North Korean one, there's like a billion houses like all right next to each other on like the right half of the city.
yeah,
And it's like I saw like one guy walking around and that was it. Like I bet they hire like 20 people to live there or something.
it's like they have the. It's like they're trying to like fool everyone into thinking that it's a huge like bustling city. So like it's just like they like hire one actor to be like the person at the store and then like the person at the train station.
Yeah.
It's like wait a second, wasn't that guy like the counter at the clerk or whatever? So.
Yeah. And then also one thing that was really interesting was the third largest North Korean city. You could see it with your naked eye and also through the telescope. So that was also really interesting. Just the fact that you could see like an actual North Korean city with like a couple skyscrapers and stuff, like that was crazy.
The fact that we're actually just looking into North Korea with our naked eyes is just mind blowing to me. I mean, again, I have no desire to step foot in that country until like any type of like warming of relations or
just unification in general.
Unification or just like literally like the end of the Kim regime. But
yeah, but then again, she said the tour guide. She said it would take, like experts said that it'd take 20 years, and only if North Korea's GDP could get to the point where it's 2/3 of South Korea's.
Yeah, because
otherwise there'd be way too many problems.
Well, yeah, because
like the infrastructure costs for South Korea if they were unified right now.
Exactly. Because South Korea would end up paying for everything.
Yeah, it'd basically be like if we took on
Canada or something,
or like Mexico. Like basically.
U.S. was like, let's just
like the burden
fix all of Mexico's problems.
Yeah, the burden that it put on South Korea as a country would just be insane for for the time being. But I mean, I think it'd be a cool idea. I think as relations warm, and if they can switch to being a capitalist democratic society, then they could help each other get to that point. But I don't think we'll ever get it.
I don't think it'll do it unless they have some sort of revolution. Like that's the only way it's gonna happen.
And
either that or the next dictator decides that he doesn't want to do this shit anymore. And
well, I mean that's kind of Kim Jong Il or that's kind of how he is now. I mean, it's just in terms of
Kim Jong Un.
Yeah. Kim Jong Un is just the relations are definitely a lot warmer than his dad. Kim Jong Il was.
Well, his dad was even more of a maniac.
Yeah, well, I mean the whole like Kim Il Sung and like Kim Jong Il, like they're literal maniacs. Like they in terms of like how they
Yep.
operate the country. Granted, I mean Kim Jong Un is definitely a maniac of his own.
Well, I mean, I think with him, most of the like crazy stuff is because he was trying to prove himself that
Yeah,
they need to
obviously.
take him seriously.
No,
Because he was
yeah,
only
I mean-
like 28, I think, when he became
Yeah,
ruler.
and everyone just like
Like, oh, he's just a kid.
yeah, the idea of him, he's just like a fat nerd that's just basically like,
Yeah.
at the that's running a country. So he just like
Yeah.
a lot of it's just.
So he's like,
proving
if you cross me, I'll kill you. Like,
Yeah.
you need to take me seriously.
Yes.
I think that's basically what his thing was.
I mean, we had a topic like back in the day about like the concept of reunification, and we
Yeah,
discussed it again with once. I think that's another interesting part about this tour is that the tour is all the information or like the sort of logistics of the tour kind of constantly get updated,
Yeah.
considering like all of the peace talks and everything that happened.
Yeah.
Last April. Again, like she mentioned how they're not blasting K-pop over the border anymore.
Yeah. They agreed that they're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But they did it for like 40 years.
Yeah, just as a like means of like I guess propaganda or just like trying to like I guess get people to open their eyes. They blast like K-pop music. So they play songs like "Bang Bang Bang" by Big Bang,
Bang,
just like
yeah.
literally like blasting it over the DMZ and I guess just like to scare them. But yeah, they stopped doing that, which is kind of sad because I would have paid to see it.
Yeah. Wait, was it at the observatory? Where was it that we could
I
hear
think
it?
it was at the observatory.
Yeah, that
'cause
was the
she
last
said,
observatory.
She said you'd be able to hear it, like if they had
It
to
was
stop
probably
it
like
last
a
year.
giant building and stuff. The speakers were probably.
Yeah.
So that would have been really funny to hear. You just go there and they're just playing really loud
Yeah.
K-pop.
Well, we were saying the new Blackpink song would be a good.
Yeah, kill this
Kill
last.
this last.
Like hearing an obnoxious like horns like that would be perfect for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a future topic that we have to make. Top 10 songs that
To
you
blast in
to
North
blast
Korea.
over the DMZ into North Korea. So I guess we can wrap up the topic for now.
Yep.
Or just
Um,
final thoughts.
overall, I think this was definitely worth the trip. Although I will say when I found out that we were gonna go across a bridge like that far into the DMZ, I was getting a little nervous. I was like, I didn't realize we were doing that, but then usually when I get nervous, I kind of just rationalize in my head like, oh, millions of people do this
Yeah,
all the time.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know,
It's like flying. People get scared of flying. It's like you're more likely to get hit like in a ton of car accidents than you are
Yeah.
to get in a flight accident.
And I mean, again, they us being American citizens, they wouldn't dare touch, like lay a finger on
an international crisis.
Yeah, like the second someone from North Korea like kidnaps an American national, like they're gonna send the nukes. Basically, like they will get wiped off the map if they ever decide to mess with
those
America.
sanctions will be back then.
Yeah, the sanctions will be worse. Like if they even considered it. Yeah, so I guess just on my part, yeah, it's definitely a good enlightening trip. Something that I guess not too many people like consider doing when coming to Korea because they usually, it's funny how like the image of Korea now, before the rise of K-pop, it felt like the image of Korea was that's the country that's not North Korea.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's interesting because as far as I know, I think until like maybe the 80s, I think North Korea was actually more wealthy than South Korea was. And because that's when, like, basically when it started to switch was when the Soviet Union fell.
Yeah.
Like, basically North Korea went down the shitter after that.
Yeah.
Because that's they were getting by on support from the
And I mean,
USSR.
South Korea's history isn't like, isn't all like flowers and roses as well. Again, there were just like a lot of dictators of their own right in Korean history. So
yeah, I think they got their current government in the 80s. I think either late 70s or something like that.
So I think this is probably a really important trip. I'd recommend people do it.
Yep.
Even if I guess you're not even that interested in history. I think it's just like a good reminder of how good we have it, and like literally again, people just like
Western
a stone's throw away from us are living in complete and abject poverty and famine and everything. Again, like the land up in North Korea isn't fertile at all. Like,
oh yeah, that's another thing. Like speaking of the poverty, like my friend who ran the marathon, apparently he was talking to people. He only did a half marathon, but people did the full marathon. I think they went like way farther out of Pyongyang, and they said apparently you could tell like how far you were getting from Pyongyang by how dirty the kids' hands were.
Oh my god, that's insane. But I think it's a good like learning experience for people to have, and it's definitely a good like even though it's kind of like a touristy type of thing, it's definitely a good sort of reminder. Definitely makes you not take things for granted as much, or thank God, or I guess I'm almost thankful that like I live in the U.S. and I literally don't have to worry about like an actual dictatorship like right across the border. Yeah, I guess this is probably one of the, again, it's something that we'll definitely remember for the rest of our lives, just being that close to North Korea. So, Nate.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Yeah, definitely do it. And I think like it was nice to get a more like detailed like history lesson, I guess.
Yeah.
Hearing more details than you would get.
And it's living history
in other places.
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not something like you hear about like the Korean, like we mentioned before. You just hear about this stuff like in a textbook, or you see it like on Wikipedia or whatever.
Yeah, most of the Korean War was like 1950s, but in reality, it's been going this whole time.
So now,
Wait, one thing I was confused by was she mentioned that the armistice was never signed, but I thought there was one signed last year.
Or like they signed. I think
maybe it was just
they signed a plan.
Oh, it's a plan to end it. Oh,
yeah, a plan to end the armistice, but I don't think it officially ended necessarily just yet.
I'll do some research on it. I guess.
Yeah, but I'd say
not sure.
It's not officially ended. I guess yet.
Yeah,
but still, that's crazy.
Well, it's good they're taking the steps because again, I think like 20 years ago that would have never happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, also one thing I mentioned, we didn't go to the. If you're familiar with the DMZ, we didn't go to the JSA, which is like the place with like the blue building or whatever.
Yeah, the joint security area. Yeah. I'm too scared to go there.
No, I don't want to go there because as part of like some of the tours, or you can actually go into a building and step into North Korea, but it's kind of scary because like there's guards on the other side, obviously, and everything, and like who knows, they might kidnap you into North Korea, and that'd be a huge mess. But yeah, I guess that's a more expensive trip though, and that's like a full day thing as well. So this is like a half day trip essentially. So yeah, that's the thing. It's probably take you like 4 hours at most, like 4 or 5 hours to go through the whole trip.
Yeah.
Just between getting out there, because again, this is outside of Seoul, so you're gonna have to go like 40 minutes ish just to get there. So. Okay, just anything else to close?
Well, I'll remember this for the rest of my life. It was crazy, but it was awesome. I'd recommend it to most people. So
yeah, definitely.
Yep.